when a massive polar bear started pursuing a research vessel in Arctic waters, the captain ordered the crew to prepare for defense. No one could understand why one of the planet's most dangerous predators had been following their ship for hours without falling behind. But when the expedition's biologists suggested the unthinkable, lowering a boat to get closer to the predator, no one could imagine that their discovery would leave the entire crew frozen in shock. The research vessel Polar Star had been working in the Arctic's cold waters for 3 weeks. The team, led by Captain John Anderson, was studying Arctic ice, conducting routine measurements and observations. No one could have thought that this day would completely change their perspective on the relationship between humans and wildlife. It all began with the lookout shout, "Polar bear on starboard!" His voice sent all crew members rushing to the rails. What they saw left them stunned. The huge polar bear wasn't just swimming beside the ship, it was purposefully following it, repeatedly turning its head toward the vessel and making loud sounds, as if trying to attract people's attention. Captain Anderson, struck by such unusual behavior, ordered to reduce speed. A heated discussion broke out on board. Some thought the bear was simply hungry and looking for easy prey. Others suggested the animal might be sick or injured. Chief Engineer Pitt even proposed scaring the predator away with the ship's horn, but the captain rejected this idea. At this moment, Dr. Emily Harris, an experienced biologist who had been carefully observing the bear through binoculars, played a crucial role. Her hands were trembling with excitement when she spoke the words that changed everything. "This isn't aggression. The bear seems desperately trying to tell us something." Captain Anderson, a man accustomed to making difficult decisions after some deliberation, made perhaps the riskiest decision of his career. He ordered the vessel to stop completely and lower a small boat for closer observation. Emily Harris volunteered to lead this dangerous mission, despite crew members' protests. Experienced sailors Mike and Tom joined her. When the small boat detached from the ship, everyone's hearts stopped. Mike gripped the oars tightly, his knuckles white with tension, while Tom continuously checked the safety equipment, trying to distract himself from growing fear. The icy wind burned the researchers' faces, but they were completely focused on the approaching animal. What happened next contradicted all known knowledge about polar bear behavior. Instead of showing aggression, the predator swam to the boat and began making sounds more like whimpering than growling. Its eyes seemed full of desperation, and its movements became increasingly insistent. It repeatedly dove underwater, as if trying to show something to the researchers, and constantly pointed with its paw in one direction. After lengthy radio discussion with the captain, an unprecedented decision was made to follow the bear. It was incredibly risky, but intuition told them they had to do it. The Polar Star slowly moved in the indicated direction, maneuvering between huge ice floes that frequently blocked their path. The journey continued for several hours. Tension on board grew with each minute. Some crew members began openly expressing dissatisfaction, considering this venture madness. A heated argument erupted in the mess hall, threatening to turn into open conflict. The situation was aggravated by rapidly deteriorating weather. Heavy gray clouds covered the sky, strong wind rose howling like a pack of hungry wolves, and waves grew higher. Suddenly, the radio operator ran from the bridge with a pale face, waving a paper. They had received a storm warning. A severe storm was approaching their area, and they had only a few hours to find safe shelter or leave the danger zone. Captain Anderson faced an extremely difficult choice. Continuing to follow the bear meant endangering the entire crew and ship, but something in the animal's behavior prevented him from deciding to return. At this critical moment, the lookout shouted that he saw something in the distance. Through the beginning fog and high waves, something unusual was visible on the horizon. The bear, hearing the shout, let out a loud roar and swam even faster, its movements becoming more sharp and determined. As they got closer, through the fog veil, they saw a large ice field that at first glance looked no different from hundreds of others. The captain ordered the ship to stop at a safe distance from the ice. Dr. Harris, ignoring the strengthening wind, again requested permission to lower a boat. Despite the approaching storm, the captain agreed, realizing they might be on the verge of something important. As they approached the ice, they began hearing strange sounds like weak whimpering or crying. The bear climbed onto the ice and began pacing back and forth as if pointing to something specific. and then they saw it. In a large depression in the ice lay two small bear cubs, emaciated and weak, clearly unable to escape their icy trap on their own. Everything fell into place. This huge polar bear was a mother desperately trying to save her cubs. She hadn't just been following the ship. She had consciously sought help from humans, understanding she couldn't manage alone. This discovery shocked everyone on board. No one could believe a wild animal was capable of such a deliberate act. Captain Anderson immediately organized a rescue operation. Knowing time was short, the ice floe could start melting or drifting at any moment. Using special equipment, the crew carefully extracted the cubs from the trap and transferred them to the ship. The whole time, the mother bear watched carefully but didn't interfere with the people, as if understanding they were trying to help. Dr. Harris examined the cubs and was relieved to find that, despite exhaustion, they hadn't suffered serious injuries. After providing first aid, the captain decided to transport the bear family to the nearest large area of stable ice. During this journey, the mother bear followed the ship constantly, never taking her eyes off her cubs. When they reached a safe place, the cubs were carefully lowered onto the ice, and their mother quickly joined them. The crew watched the touching family reunion with emotion. Before leading her cubs away, the mother bear turned to the ship and made a soft roar, which the crew perceived as a kind of thank you. Then she slowly led her little ones into the vast ice expanse, while the people watched the departing bear family for a long time. This incredible story remained forever in the memory of the Polar Star's crew. They witnessed firsthand how maternal love proved stronger than fear of humans, and how a wild animal could find common ground with people. The Arctic incident became a living example that nature can still surprise us, and compassion can work real miracles.